Do you have any allocation rules and or just general trading rules to live by? The first rule I have, which deals with my allocation, is my 35 rule, and this is that I should never have more than 3 to 5% of my total portfolio value in a single options trade. It says single trade. This is a single options trade. Currently my account value is around 33,500. So this means my principal should never really exceed 1,000 to 1,600 bucks. Most times I don't even have that much exposure per trade, but when I get close I become very conscious of my 35 rule. With equities it's a little bit different because you don't have the same risks with equities as you do with options, so I will allocate more, I will have more exposure. But even then, it's very tight stops and never going overnight, strictly day trades. Anytime I'm going to put on a big scalp position with an equity trade, it would probably be about $5,000 to $10,000 per trade. A couple rules that I have is I always try and place my buy order below the bid and place my sell order as soon as I fill. This eliminates a lot of the guesswork. I find when I don't have a sell order in, I'm kind of prone to reading into every single tick, which causes me to overanalyze. And when I put that sell order in, it's like I'm eliminating half the battle. If I put the sell order in, now the only chance I have at hesitating is canceling the order and changing it. But if I first put it in, now I can't hesitate. If it gets filled, it gets filled. That's great. I used to find that I'd try and time things exactly correct, and what would happen is I'd overanalyze, I'd read into everything, and I'd find myself selling into the bid as opposed to selling on ask, which just makes it easier if you've got your sell order in as soon as you fill. A couple personal beliefs is that the open is the best time of the day to trade. If I don't make a trade within the first 5 to 30 minutes of the day, then it's probably not going to be an active day. Barring news-related moves or unusual market environments, then the greatest volatility will typically come the first few minutes of the day, as well as the best volume. Something I remind myself is that I would rather be naturally conservative and know when to be aggressive than be naturally aggressive and know when to be conservative. There's a typo here. Let me just fix that. I just think it's safer to be conservative. Sometimes my conservatism keeps me out of a winning trade, but that's fine. To that same end, my lack of aggressiveness keeps me out of losing trades. I feel like when I'm doing well consistently, it's because I'm being generally conservative, and when I'm doing poorly, I feel like it's because I'm being a little bit too over aggressive. So I generally think it's easier and better to be naturally conservative and know when to turn it on, turn it up, so to say, than it is to be full blast all the time and have to figure out when to dial it back. Touched on this earlier in the last question, and that is that the trading week is much more important than the trading day. Of course, I want to do well every day, but it's how my results look at the end of each week that matters most. For options trading, I always need to give my best effort on Fridays. I get very upset with myself if I don't really give an A+ effort on a Friday, and that's because there's very little premium on weekly options by the time Friday rolls around, so that means that the smallest of moves in an underlying stock can cause solid 10 to 20% moves in the option chains. And if it's a big move happening, then you can see options moving hundreds and sometimes even thousands of percents. So I got to give that strong effort on Friday because there's tends to be, if I make 5 trades on average, Friday there tends to be an opportunity to make 15 trades. So kind of think about it like this. What's the most important quarter in a sporting game like football or basketball? It's the fourth. Well, Friday is the fourth quarter of our trading week. And lastly, I think I have talent, but sometimes I feel like experience and discipline holds me back. And so that's where I kind of came up with this mantra for myself, and that is that talent can win battles. My talent has gotten me out of some battles, but it's the experience and discipline that has helped me start to win the war here and get consistent on my progress. So a lack of talent, yeah, it might keep you from advancing, but I can tell you personally that a lack of experience and discipline is what will guarantee you don't get very far. And likewise, talent maybe will make you money, but it is the experience and discipline that will make sure you keep the money you make.